girlfriends, ghosts, hearing voices, and how I lost my gifts. And this is kind of what happened to me in my late teens, early 20s. And these are three, I guess, events that ultimately I believe led to me losing my gifts. And there were other things going on as well, but these are the sort of three standouts. So the first one was, it was one evening, it was a Sunday evening, it was about 9:15. I'm with my sister in her cottage, and I started to get these really funny feelings in my stomach. And at start I didn't really understand them, I didn't know what was going on, but they persisted and they started to change, and I quickly realized that they were changing and moving from, say, excitement to guilt to pleasure to, and they went through all of these different ranges of emotions. And basically I pretty quickly realized that it was my girlfriend and she was cheating on me, and she was about, I don't know, 50 miles away or something like that at uni, and I was staying with my sister for the weekend. So the whole experience lasted for about an hour and a half, and in the end I was like, well, that was a pretty intense moment. And I went to the uni the next day, and my girlfriend came up to me like nothing had happened, right? And I was like, hey, I know what happened last night. And she goes, what do you mean? Kind of thinking, how could he know? Because he hasn't spoken to anybody yet. It's still the morning. So I said, well, I got these feelings, and it started at this time and it finished at this time, and these were the feelings I felt. And she literally looked at me and went, what? And obviously we broke up after that, but yeah, she was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. So that was the first thing. The next thing was I was driving down an English country road in the middle of nowhere. I was coming up to a T-junction, and as clear as day I heard this voice call out and call for help. It actually said, help me, please help me. And I stopped before the T-junction pretty much as soon as I heard this voice, and I thought, okay, it's probably the radio, but it wasn't the radio. The radio wasn't on in the car, and it was just me on my own. So I got out of the car thinking that somebody had kind of gone into a ditch or something, and they'd crashed their car and they'd gone into the ditch and they were calling for help. There were no cars in the ditch, there was nobody around me, so I literally got back in my car and sped off. I wasn't going to hang around there, and that was the second thing that happened. And then finally, it was like a bit like a dripping tap. The house that I lived in really had some very weird vibes in it, to put it politely. I was at that point clearly pretty, without knowing it, pretty sensitive to things, and it got to the point where I couldn't sleep in the bedroom anymore that I had. I had to sleep in another room, and it just got to the point where I couldn't really be in the house. And I think in that moment my unconscious mind went, this is way too scary, I don't know what's going on, let's just call this a day. So everything stopped for me, and I think that was kind of what happened. There was a build up of living in the house and these other things going on. So that's the story.